So here we've asked Senior Aubrey Judge, Chris Unangs, how do you find a breeder and how do you find the right kitten? So Chris, I saw a Maine Coon when I Googled cats, and I want a Maine Coon. So what do I do? How do I know if I want one?
How do you know if you want one? Have you seen one in person?
No.
You probably want to visit a cat show. Look and see if you can find a cat show in your area. You really want to go to the cat show and visit all the different breeds, all the different cats, research that breed. If you want a small, tiny cat, that's not what you want. Let me grab him.
Well, that's not a very big cat.
No, but he's only 3 months old.
Oh.
Only 3 months old, he's probably going to quadruple, if not more, in size as he gets bigger. You can tell by the big feet. You also need a personality. Do you want something quiet, like a Persian? Do you want something overly active, like an Abyssinian? So you need to research different breeds and what personality you want, and do you want a long hair? Can you take care of a long hair? Yes, you can groom them and shave them, but you have to keep that up for life.
How much work is that?
How much work is that? It's work all the time. You don't groom them every 6 months. You groom them really pretty much literally every day. You can do at least every day, if not every other day. You're going to want to brush them, make sure that they're not matted, because if they start getting matted, it starts hurting. So you have to make sure that you get a cat that you're going to be able to take care of, not just have running around the house. Okay,
so let's say I decide I want this kitten. I want a Maine Coon. Can I just go and go to a show and just buy one?
If you go to a show, but you really want to research the breeders. You want to make sure you're contacting a responsible breeder, an ethical breeder, a breeder that's doing it for the betterment of the breed, not just to make kittens. Then you want to make sure that they have contracts. You don't want to just buy a kitten and hand money over. Yeah, contracts. Should be most kittens should be spayed or neutered for you. Most breeders will spay and neuter before they even go out of their possession. But you want to make sure you have a contract, which is basically like a health guarantee. There's a health guarantee in there. A lot of breeders, I know my personal contracts had, if you, like in 3 years, you decide you don't want the cat anymore, it comes back to me, and I will take it back. And most good breeders will do that. They will find a home for it. They want to know where their cats end up, even after 5 years.
Do I have to ask questions? How do I know if it's an ethical breeder?
You just got to research. You got to research. You got to talk to people. Again, go to a cat show. Talk to people. Talk to different breed people. If they are breeding and they're showing more, usually that's ethical because they're breeding to better their breed. They're not breeding to make money off of all their kittens because we don't make money off of kittens. It's not how it works for us. We are here to better the breeds, not to make money. And if you have somebody just out there selling kittens and they're selling them at under 3 months old, that's the other thing. You want to make sure they're at least 3 months old, if not older. Because no reputable breeder will sell anything under 3 months, and most won't do it under 4 months.
Well, I read in the newspaper that I could get a Maine Coon for $200.
That's the other thing. You're not going to get anything super cheap. You kind of get what you pay for. Because any ethical breeder will have all the health guarantee, they'll have all their shots, they'll be spayed and neutered, it's all taken care of. And that money that you're paying, they're not making money from that, that's to cover what they put out for that kid. So you get what you pay for. You don't want something super cheap. It doesn't work that way. So be prepared to spend some money. If you really, really, really want a cat, you're going to want to spend some money to get that responsible breeder and that quality health guarantee.
Okay, well, let's see if anybody else has questions for you.
Does anybody have questions? This is a Maine Coon. It's a Maine Coon if you're wondering what it is. It is a Maine Coon. It's a 3-month-old kitten. And actually, he has never been out of the house before. This is his first time out of the house, believe it or not. Yes. It's okay. I don't breed Maine Coons. You would need to talk to breeders that are out there. We have quite a few Maine Coon breeders in the show right now. His breeder is here. She just happens to be working right now. Just talk to different Maine Coon breeders because I don't breed Maine Coons, so I don't know what Maine Coon prices are. But like I just said, don't expect to spend $200 for a pedigree cat because that means they're just breeding for the sake of money. And you don't want to do that. If you're going to get a quality, health guaranteed spayed neuter kitten, you're going to pay some money, but you're going to get the quality. You're going to get that guarantee. So while you're here, talk to breeders. Feel free to, if they look busy, just feel free to walk up and go, excuse me, we are great. We might just be running around and be ultra busy, but we are more than willing to talk to our spectators. So if you're interested in kittens or different breeds.
So if you find a breeder that's out of state, say in Florida or New York, is it better to drive there to pick up the cat and see the cattery, or is it better to just have the person fly the cat? What would you do?
Some breeders will not allow you in their cattery, which I honestly can understand, because I'm not going to just let any stranger in my home either, as a breeder. But I would go and see. I would not just get the cat sight unseen.
Just go pick it up.
I would go pick it up. And most breeders will meet you or allow, and some breeders will allow you in their homes. Like I said, we just have to be careful what we allow into our homes as breeders for the betterment of our cats also.
So let's say we go there and pick up the cat. Is it safe to fly the cat home with us?
It should be, yes.
Do you feel comfortable, like as a breeder, letting somebody...
If you have the right kind of carrier to put the cat in cabin with you, it'll go under the seat.
Okay.
That's fine. And I know breeders that we also fly to meet the people. I do know breeders that will take on the plane themselves and go meet them wherever they're at. So any reputable breeder is going to, again, work with you to get you the kid. They really will, because they care. When I sell kittens, to me, it's an adoption. It's not a sale. It's an adoption. One of my children is going somewhere, and I cry when every one of my kittens leaves. I'm not going to lie. So they should work with you, and if they're not willing to work with you, then they're probably not the greatest breeder to be working with.
Yeah, no, it's like I've been burned by a breeder before, so then I'm more skeptic whenever I approach any breeder. So
yeah, you just gotta, like I said, if they're not willing to be flexible with you and work with you, then they're not a reputable breeder to be working with.
So I have a couple of questions that maybe you can say something about. Help guarantee. What does that mean? What kind of questions should someone ask before they exchange money with a breeder? I know there's parents, there's genetics. I mean, what should they be asking?
Different breeds have different genetic issues. That's why we breed, and be careful what we breed to what. You want to make sure they have all their shots. Make sure they have like their deworm, that sort of thing. I would ask about parents. Have you had any genetic problems with parents? Heart issues, liver issues? Do you have any genetic problems in the lines that you're aware of? Has a kitten been healthy the entire time they've had it? Did they have to treat it for anything? That's pretty much, yeah. And you should know when you look at it that it's a healthy kitten. If you have any doubt, you should just bring it up to that breeder and see what they're gonna tell you. But yeah.
A lot of breeders have what we call a health guarantee. Do you do that yourself?
I do have a health guarantee. Within 7 days of them receiving the kitten, if something happens, I will take that kitten back and they will get their money back, or they'll get another kitten. I did have, as a person, when I first started showing, I got a Burmese, and we found out a few weeks later he had a heart murmur. And that breeder said, okay, I can replace him, I just can't replace him now. I did keep that cat because we were already attached to him. And the replacement cat I got was my first show kitten. That is how I got into show. So they may not have a kitten right then for you, but anybody with a health guarantee, they're going to replace that kitten for you or give you your money back, whatever works. But I do it within 7 days, because once they're out of my house and in somebody else's house, 7 days is kind of the incubation period for stuff. And then after that, if it gets sick, that's not necessarily my fault. It's already been in your home for that long.
Oh, there's another question. When new kittens go into a home, what should the person expect?
We try, as breeders, we try to socialize them as much as possible. But when you put them into a new environment, especially if you have other cats, you really want to try to put them like in a separate room and isolate them so they can go like under the door and get the sense with what's in your house. They might hide for the first couple days, and that's perfectly normal. And within usually 3 to 7 days at the most, they should be coming out without a problem. Like, they're not going to be necessarily in your lap right away because it's a new environment. But you need to introduce them correctly into, if you have other animals. You can't just throw them in the room when you walk in the house. So you want to introduce them correctly and then just give them time. They do take adjustment times for their personalities to come out because that's a brand new environment.
So one other question. I'm sure a lot of people have heard the term, when you bring a new kitten into the house, you have to be careful of well viruses. What does that mean?
Well viruses?
That
are already in your household that they might not.
Yes. Is that why you keep them separate?
Yes, you can do that. I do know some people that will isolate them for like 30 days to see what comes up, if something comes up from being separated, and if it's a virus that stress causes it, or if it's a virus that it's an incubation period. So you can do that up to 30 days. I personally have never had those issues, but we do have viruses that show up later, but some breeders do know they have them, but the kitten itself at that point in time may not have it. But if it acquires it later, again, as a breeder, I'm going to either replace that kitten, take that kitten back if you want to give it back to me, or I'm going to give you your money back. A reputable breeder will stand behind their kitten.
All right, thank you. If anybody else has any questions?
Yes.
What do you think about breeders selling adult cats?
Adult cats?
Cats that no longer breed?
Yeah, they're retired breeders.
Right, retired, right.
Yes, I have sold retired breeders. We do that to keep our numbers down because, we don't want 100 cats. There are a lot of people that will do retired breeders, and they'll do that because they've done what they need to do, they're done breeding them, and you will not pay as much money for a retired breeder because it's a few years old. I don't have a problem with that, but again, that's where the part of your contract says, if this doesn't work out, and I'm going to click him back, and it doesn't work out in your house because it's an older cat, it doesn't adjust well, I would take the cat back. Any reputable breeder is going to take that cat back. If I place a 2-year-old female with you, spay, and it decides it didn't like leaving my house because it's been in my house since it was a kitten, I'm going to take it back as a reputable breeder. Any reputable breeder is going to take it back and find it a different home, possibly find it a different home, or keep it themselves. So I have no problem with older cats at all as retired breeders.
So do you find that most of the time they do okay in a new owner's house? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, in the all times I've been breeding, I think I might have taken a cat back once.
Okay.
But then I rehomed it, and it's fine.
And what age group are they usually retired at?
It depends on the breeder. Some breeders will let them breed like a female 6 litters of kittens, and then they're, nope, I'm done. I do know a breeder that the females can't be over 6 years old. Males will be a little older because it's not quite as stressful for them necessarily. That's about the time for me. Like females, 6 years old because at the most, and that's even older than I would normally do. It depends on how many litters they have in their lifetime. And then my males, I've done up to 8 years old. I won't go beyond the 8 years old because they deserve to be a pet of someone.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of it. It depends on the breeder. That's usually the overall time frame. So, and there's some people that maybe may have a female that didn't have problems with a litter, and they're going to spay it right away. And then that's why it's 2 years old and spayed, because there was something that she wasn't meant to be a mom. So.
Right. And do most breeders take deposits? Can you get a cat without putting a deposit down?
Most breeders will take, if they have a waiting list and you know you want a kitten, a lot of breeders will do your contract, and in that contract you're going to have to put whatever deposit down
Right.
with that contract. And that's assuming they have a kitten, maybe in the future they have something that's too young and you're going to get it. So that's, you're going to put that deposit down on that particular kitten. It depends on the breeder if they're going to give you a deposit. If you just come back and go, oh, I just don't want it now. Me as a breeder, I'm not going to give you a deposit back because that's not how it is.
Right.
If something happens in your life that something changes and you can't, an illness or something, again, a reputable breeder is going to say, I understand that, here's your deposit back. So most breeders, yes, will have a contract. That's your main thing, your contract with your deposit to hold kittens. And a lot of breeders, and again, reputable breeder usually has a waiting list because they're not making kittens to just go out. They have a waiting list on kittens because they don't breed that much to supply everybody. So that's another thing. You might have to wait. If you really, really, really want a certain breed and a certain cat, you have to have the patience to wait because most breeders will have waiting lists.
All right. Thank you very much, Chris. Oh, somebody else has a... We're good?
He had a question. What are you talking about? Yeah.
He has a question.
If I wanted to pick a kitten, can you tell what the kitten's temperament's going to be by the parents?
By the parents, possibly. If it's a very well socialized, happy, in-your-face cat, generally they will throw that temper. I can say that from experience. There's one that says, I have a certain female that every time she has kittens, her kittens are always her personality. It also matters how the breeders raise them. Are they raised in their laps or are they kept in a cage? Because when they're kept in a cage and they're not socialized, obviously he's been socialized. When they're kept in a cage and not socialized, they're going to be scared. I mean, don't get me wrong, when you first see them, they might be scared. They're going to be scared in a different environment. But there's a scared where it's a different environment, there's a scared where nobody's touched them. And you want to make sure also that it's socialized. Like him, he has never been in a show hall before, ever. And he acts like this. He is from an extremely reputable breed that I would strongly recommend, just because I know how she is with her cats. And this shows you why. He's a perfect example of a reputable breeder cat without knowing the breeder. Yes, he is.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.